entitled True Story. I will help you speak and teach you what to say, Exodus 4:12. When I grow up, I mean, when I really grow up,
All right.
I want to be just like me. I want to see all the things I've been blessed to see with these eyes and have a full understanding of why it all happened. See, that happened, so this can happen, so I can be right here, right now. See, when I grow up, I want to dream all the dreams that ever meant anything in a young girl's innocent mind. And I want to remember. I want to remember being raped in a back room by my mother's boyfriend. And I want to keep the silence to keep the peace so that today I can say to a young girl, baby, you better scream. And if you've ever been 13, left alone in a home with 2 siblings to feed, no running water, no lights, no flushing toilets, dipping waste from the commode and disposing of it outside, you would have heard their cries. Heard them loud and long enough to know what a hungry cry sounds like. How it raises to a shrill, pierces your ears, then dies in a gurgle at the back of the throat. How it is momentarily coaxed by the thick, salty snot that runs out of the nose. And I want to steal their food from the local market and hover above myself, watching me have sex with a strange man to bring them a meal at night. And I want to make diapers out of towels and trash bags, then remove them only when fully soaked to expose the raw pain of urine-eaten skin. See, maybe you don't understand. And maybe I didn't either, not then, but in a world this sick, some little girls learn quick that a trick is not just a game you play. Sometimes understanding takes place in a state of abandonment. I understand abandonment. And when a child has been shifted from pillar to post, they get used to people leaving them, so goodbye is just as customary as hello. And 911 is definitely a joke. You just don't call the police when you've been taught to believe that white men in blue uniforms are your enemy. Oh, it took years to finally forgive myself for not knowing how to administer CPR the night my baby brother convulsed and died. Wow. It took many more years to forgive God, and I'm still finding ways to forgive my mother for trying to be what she wasn't prepared to be. And by 14, I had an ulcer, and I was throwing up 42 pills of guilt and black shit in a hospital somewhere, but there is a lesson in everything. I learned that I never want to try to take my life again. I didn't understand it then, but when I felt the slap from the huge hand of my grandfather as he said, bitch, niggas don't kill themselves. That was the day I realized that my people had endured much more than I could ever imagine. I learned that life is a gift not to be taken for granted, and in turn you give all that you have to ensure that the next generation gets a chance to do better. So when these babies get to writing suicide letters, I learned that they're crying out for help, and it's my job not to only perk my heart to the familiarity of it, but to commit my life to helping them. I've learned that crib death doesn't only occur in cribs, but it also transpires in crack houses to teen mothers with infants sleeping on vermin-infested mattresses. And by the age of 15, they might be strung out on a drug called crack, getting raped at pistol point in a piss-acrid alley by a drug dealer whose sick mind finds it hard to conceive that every crack fiend isn't eager to blow. And yes, no means no. So, with 19 years clean from mind-altering drugs, now I know what it's like to survive in a cold world. I've resided in foster homes, institutions, and prison cells, and I can tell you, the most valuable lesson I ever excelled in was taught in a classroom called life. The knowledge of these things has given me enough experience to be able to tell young single mothers about how they wouldn't want to be trusting no weird suckers around their kids. And I don't give a damn how desperately secure she thinks the presence of his so-called masculinity is. There's no job in the world with enough benefits to ever compensate for stolen innocence. No amount of overtime can afford it or purchase it for Christmas. And you damn sure can't get it back in taxes. See, when I grow up, I want to be a living, breathing, walking, talking testimony. And I want to speak out about agony, silent screams. It may seem gory, but the truth ain't always pretty. This is a true story. And the only glory I get from telling it is protecting the innocent. While there's an existence existing for children all over the world who don't know how to speak for themselves. And I think sometimes that's where I come in. Boldly taking this position with a submission that says, God, use me. Speak through me. Let me spit up the phlegm and mucus of silent sicknesses. Let these words be a source of strength for the weak and the things that are happening. Because believe you me, it's happening all over this planet. See, I walk to be worthy of the position many may deem me unworthy of, and frankly, I could give a fuck. It's not my life's ambition to please or entertain you or any man with eloquent words and profound expression, but I am obsessed with the fact that I feel duty-bound to tell the truth. And when I grow up, when I really grow up, I want to be just like me. Why it all happened. See, that happened, so this can happen, so I can be right here, right now, still learning how to speak life. Yeah!